This video is sponsored by Bityard. With over 400 cryptocurrencies to choose from on their spot exchange, dozens of USDT pairs for futures trading, perpetual coin futures, trade commodities like gold, silver and oil, Forex, and major indices like Nasdaq. You can buy crypto from Bityard with over 50 different fiat currencies using Visa, MasterCard, Google or Apple Pay. If you like, you can use their copy trade facility, follow other traders who will execute trades on your behalf, or become a copy trader yourself. Sign up between now and the 4th of May to take part in the wallet token airdrop. Further details can be found on my Telegram. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at the Dixie because we are on the eve of the Federal Reserve meeting. So they're going to sit around, deliberate and discuss the next rate hike, which is almost guaranteed to be a 50 basis points, so 0.5%, right? They did a 0.25 previously. It was a bit timid, to be honest with you. I think the markets had priced in a bit harder than that, and we had a decent response from that. I'm expecting something similar to that this time round. So if they go for 50 basis point, I think we'll probably see a bounce out of that. I know it's counterintuitive, but this is generally the way that the markets move. But if they do go a little higher, which there is that possibility, because inflation is high not just for, you know, coming off the back of this massive party that we had last year and the year before, effectively, but it's more than that. It's we've got China and the supply chain's been disrupted because of the lockdowns, because of COVID over there. And then obviously Russia, Ukraine, fuel prices, food prices, all this sort of stuff. So there's other reasons that inflation continues to get higher despite the little tiny rate hike that they did back in March. So it's inevitable that they're going to have to go a bit harder because inflation is worse than a descending trend line, right? Let's just face it. It's going to be worse off if we have inflation for a prolonged period of time. It's not about you, it's not about the chart, it's about everybody else who doesn't have the privilege of clicking buttons for a living. It's about those people, all right? And they need to be looked after, and in order to do that, inflation has to come down because it's going to cause such significant issues for everybody. Obviously us as well, you know, the privileged, but the people who don't have that really are going to find it hard, like a true genuine struggle. So it needs to be sorted out. So let's nip it in the bud. Let's go hard and heavy. And to be honest with you, if you're anything like me, you welcome lower prices. I've been talking about lower prices. I've been buying lower than I sold. You know, someone there's Captain Hindsight's always on these channels, leaving comments going, "Oh, you're an only up character. It's always only up." But I mean, if you do listen to me, I do talk about lows and taking advantage of these lows. Buying this zone is where I've been, you know, bought this zone out as we came into it. This is called trading. You sell high and you buy low. The next area is, again, I've been very transparent about it, 31,350. Front running the summer lows because there is still interest in Bitcoin despite a descending trend and despite being below all major moving averages. It is getting picked up quite aggressively when it comes down to these levels. You can see these wicks spiking it back up. Again, we do have wicks coming back down again, so there is a fight between the bulls and the bears, but there are economic factors at play to stop this from mooning so hard. At the end of the day, accumulate while in accumulation, buy low in order to sell high. So again, we welcome these lows and we want them. We do want them. So talking of lows, obviously I've got that 31,500 trying to front run the summer lows in anticipation for a wick down there that would get bought straight back up. However, yesterday we looked at this logarithmic scale here, and what we saw is that, yeah, this is an only up style chart. Let's face it, it is only up, which is why I'm more than happy to buy as it goes down. Because again, you know, I'm not in any rush to make any to make any money. It's been a pretty good 3 years. I can kind of relax, and it should be a very relaxing environment, to be honest with you, buying and selling Bitcoin. I mean, it's not that hard, in all fairness, to make money out of it. Everybody ends up making profit. Even Matt Damon, like I say, is prophesized to make money down the line, despite buying the absolute peak. But if we think about this chart and this, this is a monthly, obviously. If we were to come down to this trend line, this at the bottom of this trend line, and if we were to do it this month, we would likely catch a bounce around 26,000, right? 25, 26. If we think about what that is on the weekly here, we do have a 200 exponential around about 25. So despite the summer lows, if that doesn't hold, which it should because it's very strong, but if it doesn't, or for whatever reason there's a wick below it, 26 to 25,000, you could end up getting a decent opportunity to buy at that level as well. again, like I say, I'm not only up, guys. I am only up in the long term, but you know, that you have to take advantage of lows, and I welcome them. We all welcome them. You have to buy the lows, right? As they go lower and lower and lower, you have to buy them. Right, so that said, Bitcoin not looking particularly good on the weekly, but yet not got that short signal. The short signal will be a weekly closure of this Chiku span below price action. Now we've got that on the daily, and we saw that a few days ago, last week, and we are waiting still for that to be generated, a push down, which is why I've got that area of 31,500 mapped out. Because I saw the short signal, it is on a daily, so it can take a little time to play out, and if that would be the case, then we are looking for a move of effectively about 20%. That's good, that's fine, that's what I want, that's what we need, right? If you want to make the serious cash, you buy on the way down. Remember, this zone is all bought out for me, so this is old news. I make these videos on a daily basis to, I suppose, in an attempt to be relevant, but effectively I could probably make a video a week and it would be the same kind of thing. Altcoins at the moment are really not very interesting, so and we all recognize, or at least I do, that Bitcoin is the main is the driving factor for the entire crypto market. So looking at altcoins, yeah, occasionally it can be interesting, and we do these live streams, and doing one tonight, doing one on Friday, but you know, occasionally you'll find something that does look good out of all of that. But at the moment the market is trending as one. The market is effectively Bitcoin, which is extremely correlated to traditional markets, as they are all pulling back due to economic factors that we've established at the beginning of this video, and pretty much every video since, I don't know, December. So down only in the short term, but like I say, I'm not married to that idea that we are just literally going to go straight down to 31,500. That is a short signal. It is on a daily. It can take a while to play. We are going into a rate hike event, which last time we did have movements like this, down, up. We could get that again. It depends on how confident the market is after the event. Last time the market responded extremely well, and the reason for that is that the market had effectively priced in what I believe would have been a 50 basis point or 0.5% rate hike initially, which is why it was so aggressive. This is just Bitcoin. You want to have a look at some traditional markets, then you want to see wrecked city. Bitcoin's held up quite well so far, and it had a decent reaction. So I do think that we'll play something similar to that. If we do end up raising the interest rate by more than 0.5%, then actually I think at that point that we probably won't have a bullish or positive reaction to it. I think at that point it might be a bit of a tipping point, and we do go further down. You know, the argument being is that, you know, in order to really deal with this inflation, if it can't be dealt with, you know, by doing these little tiny incremental steps of rate hikes, which again, you know, they're not small, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, like Russia, I know they're in a different situation altogether. They went 10% overnight. You know, we're here saying, oh, we'll do 0.5%. That's big, man. Russia did 10% overnight. You know, and yeah, that solved the ruble, would appear to solve the ruble issue, but it's still wrecked the economy. Probably not as much as I thought it would be, but you know, how much do we believe, you know, what's going on over there? It's hard to take it on face value. But one thing we can take on face value is the Dixie, and again, something that we accurately predicted last September is that the Dixie was going to have a bullish year this year. You know, much to the despair of some people, and some people just couldn't believe it. But yeah, now we can see it, and we do believe it. We've come up to this peak now, and I would imagine that we probably spike a little higher than this as well between today and tomorrow. And then from that point forward, I would think a consolidation is not just required. I think it's on the cards, but a consolidation on a small term time frame is probably only a daily. I was checking this on the 4 hourly here, so we are at the moment sort of just dancing around that peak over there. We are over the next 24 hours likely to get an end of trend signal on the 4 hourly. Remember, it's just the 4 hourly, okay? This doesn't mean it's going to crash back down into its shadow. It just means that the Chiku span has said, okay, that's enough for this trend, and that could have a consolidation. Now, consolidation on a 4 hourly could just be very timid. It could come all the way down to, you know, 1.2 or sorry 102, or maybe just a flat 100. We're not looking for major consolidations. We are just looking for cooling off periods for an inevitable picking up and moving back on to probably going to much higher throughout the year. Remember what I said in September? Probably not, but I did say it's going to be a bullish year for the dollar, and lo and behold, we have it. You know, and we will likely continue to have a bullish year for the dollar while inflation figures continue to get higher and higher and higher. So it's a good looking chart on all time frames, I have to say. I mean, you really wouldn't want to fight this chart in the best of times, never mind if the Federal Reserve are backing it as well. So let's face it, it's a good looking chart, but a consolidation at this particular level is required. Next major top zone for me is going to be around this level, about 106, 107, where we might actually find a genuine peak. But again, it's all going to be to do with inflation figures. Inflation needs to start to come down. With the inflation coming down, you will start to see the Dixie come back down again. And to be honest with you, wherever it peaks at, a full-on peak would be an excellent time to be buying pretty much everything. And I think this is what most people, investors, traders are really holding on, waiting for, is for when the dollar peaks. Because that would signal the opportunity to go, no, I'm not saying long, but the opportunity to go buying up those stocks that you want to get back in, the Bitcoin you want to get back in, maybe even the altcoins that you want to get back in, generally speaking. That's what you want. You want to peak on the Dixie. And we're not far from it as far as price action is concerned, in my opinion, but time-wise, time is the main thing, and I think time-wise we could still be several months away from that actually happening. So still sideways, down, boring, but opportunity, waits. So, if you are like Captain Hindsight that likes to appear on the channel, obviously you've already sold the top of the Bitcoin and you're only going to be buying the bottom, which God knows where that'll be. But I'm sure that once it's happened and it's fully established, he will emerge like the Phoenix on the channel and say that he bought it. But in reality is that you want to be incrementally buying on the way down. We've got our buy orders all in this zone, all done. The next levels will be lower, 31,000, which is around here, and below there, I generally would think about targeting that 26,000 as well. Again, they're not massively spaced apart from each other at this point, but sooner or later the bottom will form. And the idea is to take advantage of each opportunity that there could be a potential bottom. So we are looking for lower, 20%, almost guaranteed, I would say. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. So there you go. There's an overview of your Dixie, overview of your Bitcoin. Pretty much the same as everything. Over the next 2 days, while this meeting is taking place, volatility will be rife, I would imagine, and then direction will be picked for the following weeks to come. We'll see what happens, and we'll stay tuned. If you want to take part in the live streams, there's a link to the Patreon below. Otherwise, feel free to join the Telegram, which is free. And I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.